Alright, here we go. Welcome back to the Game Smash Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Room Liberty, and with me is...
Boaz Muhammad Yusuf.
And today we got some stuff. We got Black Adam revealed for Injustice 2. We got Games with Gold revealed. We've got Assassin's Creed TV series in development. We've got Titanfall 2 DLC. Capcom Network getting reworked. And StarCraft Remastered. But before we get into that, let's talk about what we played this week. So before I ended up picking up Mass Effect Andromeda, I played a bunch of Nier Automata. And I actually got to ending A.
Okay.
So, for those who don't know, the thing that's really interesting about Nier and Yoko Taro is that he likes to have specifically 4 endings to his games, right? And... so you beat the game once, and I'm using beat the game in big quotes. And you get what I like to describe as ending A, or the blind perspective.
Okay.
Because basically, you finish the story, you beat the big bad, but then you go, well, what about this? Well, what did this mean? Well, and you kind of scratch your head, like, it's very like tip of the iceberg, you know?
Okay.
So... the cool thing is that when you continue into New Game Plus, you actually play a different character, and you see the story from this character's perspective. And I'm like, all right, I'm already liking what I'm seeing here. The game is as far as I like it a lot. Like there was a lot of fun combat moments. It's a lot cleaner and crisper than the original Nier. There's one thing in particular that I think is one of the coolest things, and this is why I think this will probably be my soundtrack of the year. So there is a mechanic in this game in which there is a particular boss fight where you're fighting this boss and you've got this amazingly epic music just blasting in the background as you're doing like flips and combos and shooting bullets from your robot. And you have to hack this robot at some point. And when you hack this robot, it goes into basically a shmup. Basically you're a little triangle, you shoot little pellets, and you have to like destroy things in a certain amount of time, right? And that's the hacking minigame. However, the music changes into 8-bit. And when I mean change, it does an 8-bit cover of the current soundtrack that is being played. So you get to hear an 8-bit cover of the boss soundtrack when you're hacking it. And it's awesome.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's really, really good. The other thing that I wanted to say is I find this game is weird that characters from that are really, really important in Drakengard and Nier just kind of show up, and you're like, wait, what? Like, for example, there was a moment where there's a character in Drakengard 3 that is super important that somebody just mentions in a dialogue thing. Oh yeah, this character's in the desert somewhere. And I'm just like scratching my head going, wait, how? And there was another moment where 2 characters who are super important to Nier, the first game, just kind of show up, and you're like, how? And this is why I want to really, obviously I'm going to beat the game and get the other endings, because I know that there's an explanation to these characters showing up, and I want to know. Like, I really, really want to know. The only thing that kind of sucked, and this was my only bad experience with the game, and this is something that I kind of have a bit of a gripe about. So, there was a moment near the end of, close to where ending A was, right? Where, I'm going to spoil a little bit, so if you care about spoilers, whatever, okay? Basically,
I care about spoilers. Hold up.
Okay. Let's say I'm trying to think how to word this then. Okay, I'm gonna say that the ability to get items was limited for me.
Okay.
So what happened was I fought a boss, and I used all of my healing items. And then the checkpoint started me after a certain thing happens, and I had no way to get any more healing items. So I essentially fucked myself super hard because I had to fight this boss with no healing items, and he was essentially chunking my health. He could kill me in 3 hits, essentially.
Huh. Okay.
And I actually had to reduce the difficulty to easy to beat this boss because I couldn't beat the boss perfectly. Like I needed, because I know I'm not a good character action player, so I really needed those healing items, and I was just getting more frustrated because obviously the other thing is that when you die, there's a Dark Souls thing in which your plug-in chips stay on your body. So once you respawn, you have to run to your body and pick up all your upgrades essentially.
Yeah.
And that also added a level of panic because I'm like, shit, if I get hit 3 times before I get to my body, I'm gonna lose all of this really cool upgrades that I've collected over my playthrough. Shit. Now, obviously, all these upgrades can be replaced. Like, you can buy a lot of them and stuff like that, but it's still like, But other than that, I really enjoyed the game. And obviously, the other game that I played was Mass Effect Andromeda. And I'm really enjoying the game a lot.
Okay.
I was obviously the build up to me finally being able to play the game with all the controversy and the news and the da. I just like at that point I just want to play the game. I just want to play the game and make my own opinion. And I really do like it. I think it starts off a little rough in the sense where it's dropping a lot of information on you as far as like gameplay mechanics, and it's a little bit hard to get your mind around, but obviously once you kind of piece together what you need to do, it makes sense. And the biggest fears that I had, like first off I was like, okay, how's the crew? Is the crew interesting? And I was really glad that I was like, okay, I like this crew. Alright? And immediately I was like, I'm on my ship, and I have this feeling that it made me really happy where it's like, I'm going to spend so much time just talking to my crew and not shooting. And that was a good feeling to have again, because I was like, that's what I loved about Mass Effect 2, is that I would just be walking around my ship and, hear dialogue, characters talking about stuff. Like, and the thing about this is that the dialogue in this game is super fantastic. Like, it's really, really well written. And, like, there's moments, like, there's one moment in the game that I love in which the black guy, Liam, he's talking to one of the engineers and say, so we got this new alien, it's a whole new race, and did you talk to him? Yeah. And it was like, oh, what did you talk about? What'd you ask him? I was like, well, I wanted to know what the curse words in his language were. I'm like, really? That's the first thing you ask? Well, yeah, I wanted to know. And it's like, stuff like that is kind of like, it's kind of like comedy moments, essentially. I thought was really, really good. And, I mean, your dad's voiced by Clancy Brown, and that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I was really happy with that. The other thing I was happy with was there were a couple things. So the Mako does make a return, right? But there's a couple things that I think are important. One, the maps themselves are a little more interesting than just big empty blizzard planet, big empty desert planet, They're more interesting. There's more stuff to do. There's places that you can get out of. The other big thing is that you can fast travel. So if you just want to get to your objective and not explore, you can just go. And that, I think, is a really, really big thing. It's important that you can do this because if all I could do was, if all I had in my ability was to use the Mako, and that was the only way to travel across these kind of big areas, that would be a little bit annoying. But the fact that I can just fast travel, it cuts the travel time by a lot. So that's a big deal.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. That was the biggest thing I was worried about. And the other thing that I was really worried about was hitting, like... This is something that happened to me in Dragon Age Inquisition that ticked me off a lot. Was I hit a point where it's like, okay, I can't progress the story until I level up this stupid thing. And I was like, that's silly. Now, I actually haven't hit that in Mass Effect Andromeda. I was like, there was a point where it's like, okay, you can do some side quests and, you know, kind of build up your some points and stuff like that, or you can just go to the main quest. So my fears of like, oh God, am I just going to be sitting and grinding, were a little less like that. That isn't really the case. There is still grinding in the game. And I think that's one of the things that I find a little bit weird gameplay-wise, is that there's a lot of systems and interesting gameplay stuff that the game doesn't really fully explain. So you kind of have to, like, figure it out, which is a little bit weird. It's not like completely like, we're not going to tell you anything, but I think it's because they're explaining a lot of stuff all at once that you kind of, like, you get a couple things, but then you kind of have to go back. Now, the thing is that there's tutorials in the menu, so obviously I just have to go through them again and figure out everything. But it's not, like, really damning. So the big thing, obviously, everyone's talking about is the presentation. So, yeah, the presentation does look rough, but it's not game-breaking. It's not like, oh, God, the frame rate just hit, like, 10 frames a second and I can't even play the game properly, you know? It's not like something like that. It's not something like, oh, my save got corrupted. Thanks, Deus Ex.
There's a lot of pop-ins, right?
There is a lot of pop-in, but I find that it doesn't happen as occasionally. It doesn't happen as, like, aggressively as some people are saying it does, at least from my playthrough. I've had a couple of pop-in, but not like... It's not like every couple seconds with pop-in. Honestly, it's kind of like this is a thing where it's like, because I've played a lot of BioWare games, I know, like, okay, that's a BioWare thing that happens. Like, it's something that I wish that they could fix, but it's almost like they just don't, for whatever reason, they just don't know how to fix that particular thing.
Okay.
And as far as the faces go, I actually haven't had that many really cringy glitches with the faces. The one thing I will point out is that the faces on the alien races are perfectly fine. Like, they look normal. Like, they look fine, and there's nothing wrong about them. The thing that I think what they tried to do with the faces in this game is that in Mass Effect 2 and 3, there was a lot of moments where your character would just sort of stare at the other person and their eyes wouldn't move, right? And their face wouldn't move. Like, obviously with a little bit of exceptions, but it's like there's a lot more, like, straight, your eyes would look straight at a person. Now, for what I think what they attempted to do was they wanted to make it so that the people's faces looked more emotional, so they had the eyes move a little bit more often, which is true. Like, when you're talking to someone, your eyes move around, right? But I think they overdid it. So a lot of the animations look really... Some of the animations on the humans look really weird because the eyes are darting all over the place. But it's not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's still not great. Like, obviously, I think the biggest flaw of this game is its presentation, but it's not as bad as a detriment as I feel some people are making it out to be. It's not great. I'm not going to say that it's got amazing presentation. It's got weak presentation as far as, like, graphics go, but it has a lot of other better parts in this presentation, which is obviously the voice acting is really, really good. I like the design of the worlds you're exploring. I like the music. The music's really stellar. So it obviously, as far as presentation go, it's not great, but it's not game ruining. So I think that's a big thing that I'd like to point out for people who are like, oh God, look at these screenshots. The other thing that I did is that I played the multiplayer for a bit. The multiplayer is fantastic. It is just an upgraded version of Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, and it's fantastic. It's so much more intense because now that everyone has the jetpack movement abilities, you can, jump in the air and, you could do air dashes basically. They've made the enemies a lot more rush type enemies. So you can't just rely on staying in cover. You have to move. You have to be shooting and moving. You have to be doing the objectives. It was so much fun because I had two of my friends, Alex and Matt. We got into a game together, and Alex would set up a singularity, and there would be two bodies that would be floating around, and then I would shoot like a biotic push, and that would make a biotic explosion. And, then we'd be fighting a giant mech, and I just pull a rocket launcher and try and kill it. Stuff like that. It's a really, really good mode. And it's one of those things where it's like, how, like, you and I, we play a lot of Overwatch? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to be my second Overwatch, in which I'm going to be playing this mode a lot.
Okay.
And they've already said that they're going to support the game with free DLC. They've already added a new character that people can unlock. Overall, I'm really enjoying the game. I'm just glad that I have it now. I'm just glad that I can, make my own opinions about it. And if I am being objective about the game, though, at this point, I wouldn't say it's like a slam dunk or anything like that. I would say at the moment it's a solid 8 or maybe like 8.5 because of the dialogue. But we'll have to see because I haven't gotten to the ending, so who knows? Maybe they might botch the ending again. I really hope they don't. But anyway, that's basically what I played this week. What about you, Fawaz?
Okay. So Orisa finally came out, and the Bastion patch finally came out. So no more Find the Bastion. So I hopped back onto Overwatch.
Nice.
Now, unfortunately, I bought a new mic. So my cousin came over to visit, and he really liked my mic. So he asked me. He really liked my headphones, which also doubled as my mic. So he asked me if he could have them. And in a moment of madness, I offered them to him. So now I have no mic. So I went out and I bought a new mic.
Okay.
And the new mic is shit.
Oh boy, Fawaz.
Yeah, I'm like, how do you mess up a mic? That's what I want to know. I just went there and I was like, I didn't say, oh, give me a functioning mic because, I thought that kind of went without saying. But I guess I'm going to have to be specific now. If these bastards even let me return the damn thing. Because what happens is that it gives up a lot of static. So, I recorded a bunch of videos with it, but I didn't I recorded like a 3-second video to test the mic audio. And the audio sounded fine. So then I recorded a full video, but I didn't rewatch the full video, right? So then I uploaded it, and I still haven't rewatched it. However, I was uploading another video today, and I checked the audio, and it was pretty terrible. So then I realized, because like my friends, I was playing the party with them, and they were like, dude, your mic is terrible, bro. We can't play with you like this. So I had to play with my mic off. Then I was like, okay, maybe just my internet connection or something like that. So I was like, okay, maybe it's my connection to these people. So then I got into a party with Jason and the same shit. He was like that, yeah, B, your mic is pretty bad. So then I was like, okay, maybe it's my internet connection. So then I checked the videos and it's like, nope, it's just the mic. This mic is shit. So I'm gonna hop in maybe today, we'll see, and see if I can get a new mic. But other than that, I played a little bit of Overwatch, played some Orisa. She's pretty fun. The first game I played obviously was shit. I was figuring, like, I kept hitting the wrong button to do
The thing.
Yeah, I'd want to like throw her bubble, and I would hit like the fortify ability. I'd want to fortify, and then I'd want to use her alternate fire, and I'd use fortify, or I'd use a bubble. It was just a shit show. But I played another game today that I was trying to upload to the channel, but I won't be able to for a little while because my mic is shit. Where I got a little better. She's got tools. She's got some interesting tools. Her alternate fire is really, really cool. It's like a mini graviton surge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even like I've only been playing her for 2 games, and even in this short time, I've already seen some uses for it. We were playing on Gibraltar, and the other team pushed our spawn. I don't understand why people still do this, but whatever, it's not my problem. So anyway, we're on the high ground. I mean, like, why are you fighting on the low ground? Did you not watch episodes?
Damn it, I was gonna make that joke.
Like, I just don't get it. So we're on the high ground, and this Roadhog is hiding behind, like, the shuttle. So I fire my alternate fire to the left of the shuttle, and I pull him out of cover. And then my Zenyatta just, like, shits on him. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, you know? That's a pretty cool use of her alternate fire. The one thing that worries me about her is her shield. Mm-hmm. I'm not sold on it just yet, which will really suck because she's a tank, and that's kind of important. But the issues with the shield right now are, one, it's not instant, right?
Right.
So, like, the thing with Zarya, okay, because you don't play any shield tanks. So yeah, the thing
I play. I guess the two that I play are Reinhardt and Symmetra. Symmetra has her own little shield that she throws out.
Yeah, but Symmetra's not a shield tank.
No. Okay, well, no. I'm just saying that I have played with shields before.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So yeah, the thing with Reinhardt, right, is that his shield is instant, right?
Yeah.
Diva fires off herself. You can actually react to a Roadhog shooting his hook and put your shield up to block it, right? Mm-hmm. And most importantly, you can not react, but you can, like, bait another Reinhardt into earth shattering and then, like, put your shield up instantly. Sometimes you can even react to it if the Reinhardt is far enough away. I wouldn't recommend doing that, especially if you have, like, a team of 5 behind you.
Yeah.
But Orissa's shield has travel time. Okay, same thing with Zarya. Zarya is the better example, right? You know, like, your Reinhardt gets stuck, or your Mercy gets stuck by a pulse bomb, bam, instant. You put the bubble on her, she's safe. Orissa's shield has travel time, so it's a projectile. You don't just summon the shield, you fire it, right? And then the farther away they are, the longer it takes for the shields to get there. And I understand why they did this, you know, like, I completely get it, because you look at Zarya's shield, and Zarya's shield only has 200 HP, and it only covers one person. You look at Winston's shield, and Winston has to fly to that location to put the shield down, right? Mm-hmm. Now, once he gets there, the shield is instant, but he has to actually get there. Look at Reinhardt's shield, and Reinhardt has absolutely no mobility whatsoever.
Right.
So I understand why they did this, but I'm still iffy about it. But like I said in the video that I might never post because of the audio, right now, I'm judging her shield based on what it doesn't do, because I'm comparing it to Reinhardt, Winston, and Zarya's, right?
Right.
With more time played with her, I'm hopeful that I'll learn to appreciate what the shield does do. Yeah. You know, and then I can appreciate it for what it is. Because when Zarya first got revealed, a lot of people thought she was bad. Mm-hmm. You know, they were like, oh my god, this shield is terrible. You know, like, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't last for very long. It doesn't have a lot of health. It's just, it's just shit, right? And then people realize that actually, no, it's one of the best abilities in the game. Yeah. Because, you know, they stopped looking at it, they stopped comparing it to Reinhardt's shield and Winston's shield, and instead of looking at it as Zarya's shield, they looked at it for what it is. And I'm hoping that, you know, with time, I'm praying that the same thing happens with Orisa, because she's cool. She's a lot of fun. I love her alternate fire. I think her alternate fire is going to be, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff you can do with her alternate fire. Her ultimate is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. The one thing that that's a bit iffy is that you can't tell how many people are close to you. So you can't tell how many people you are ulting. Okay. So you feel like this is a thing where it's like it would benefit her to have some sort of, like, number as something similar to Lucio? I think so. I mean, now the issue with that is that you don't want to overcrowd the UI, and she already has a number. When she shoots her shield, the number appears on screen showing how much health the shield has. Okay. Yeah. So that's, I mean, like, part of the thing is that I'm still learning her. I'm still trying to figure out the range. Her ultimate has a decent range. There was a Pharah flying above me today, and I dropped my ultimate, and it buffed her while she was rocket barraging. So maybe just gonna be a situation where you just have to communicate with your team, right? Just be like, okay, who's here? But yeah, like it can be tough. You can, and you know, like if the range is far enough, it can be a situation where you're in the back line, right? Because that might be how Orisa ends up being played. Is because you know, like Reinhardt and Winston are supposed to be in the front line, but because of the way Orisa's barrier works, and because of the fact that she only has 400 HP, maybe she's gonna be more of a backline tank. And then when you're in the back lines, then you can see, you know, you see your Reaper dropping from the top rope, popping his ult, and then you drop your ult at the same time to damage boost him while he's doing it, or you know, something like that. So we'll see. But so far so good. I definitely like her kit. You know, I can't tell if she's strong or weak or anything. I mean, it's gonna be a while before we can tell. I think it's gonna be a very long while, actually, probably a month or two.
Probably.
But at the very least, I like what she looks. I like the kit that she's been given.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I think that's a good thing to say, is that, like, great, this Overwatch character is fun to play, you know, because that's the biggest fear, is that a new character comes out and, like, it's not even that the character's bad, it's that the character's not even fun to play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, like, Sombra for me just wasn't fun to play. I think I played Sombra once when I was making the videos for our channel, and I haven't played her ever since.
Yeah, I played her a couple times. I wanted to get good with her, but it's just the way that her kit works. It was just too difficult. It was too even at launch. And I know she's been tweaked, and I know she's not that great. It was just her kit was difficult for me to wrap my head around. So I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
But you want to get into some news?
Let's get into some news.
Well, we got Black Adam revealed for Injustice 2.
Yeah, so you know, this is pretty much in what is quickly becoming a weekly segment on the Game Splash podcast. Injustice 2 has revealed another character. This time we get Black Adam, which pretty much all but confirms that we're getting Shazam or Captain Marvel, depending on who you talk to. Also, the trailer that he got revealed in was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It gives us a little bit more insights into the story of Injustice 2, and it seems like Supergirl is going to play a big role in this story. It also adds a lot more credence to the point that I made, where I feel like this game is focusing solely on that universe. There's not going to be multiple copies of heroes. And you know, I think that's cool. I'm down with that. Also, it's also interesting because according to this trailer, Kara is older than Kal-El, so that's weird. New, I guess. Yeah, because at the beginning of the trailer, you know, she's being shipped off of Krypton right before it explodes. Spoiler alert. And in a ship right next to her, she sees a baby who I'm assuming is Kal-El. Yeah, so the trailer follows her, and she's working with Clark or Kal-El or Superman, depending on who you ask, to sort of like bring justice to this world. But then as the trailer goes on, she's not fond of the way Clark is handling things. Yeah. So it is looking like they're going to come to blows at one point or another. All in all, the story seems pretty, like, I can't lie, the story seems pretty cool, you know?
Yeah, like, honestly, from what they've shown, I've been pretty impressed with what they're setting up with the trailer. Like, it's interesting, like, civil conflict, and I'm very curious how, like, it's interesting where I'm like, I'm more interested, like, it's a weird thing where it's like, yeah, I find myself being more drawn to NetherRealm for their story than necessarily their fighting mechanics. Like, it's weird. Yeah. It's a weird thing. Because, like, it's a weird thing where it's like, I can't think of many fighting games in which you're going, oh, yeah, the story mode. It's weird, you know what I mean? Like, it's...
No, I know exactly what you mean. I was actually going to say the same thing. I think Tekken was one of the only franchises I used to follow because of the story, but then the story became, like, extraordinarily convoluted. Yeah. So, kind of given up on that. But yeah, no, I completely agree with you. if I end up buying this game, it'll be because of the story. So
Yeah.
like straight up, if a couple podcasts from now I'm talking about how, oh yeah, I got Injustice, just know that it was because of the story, not
Yeah, exactly. And then
not the
I already know how that story's gonna end. You see, like, Superman and Batman are gonna be fighting each other, and then out from the sky is gonna come the question. And then the game's gonna end.
A weekly segment on our podcast.
And then it's gonna be a cliffhanger for Injustice 3, in which you play as the question, and that's the only character in the roster.
Oh my god, one of my favorite moments, one of my favorite question moments in Justice League Unlimited was when the question, he walks up to this building, and he's humming some song to himself, and then he checks the door, and the door is locked, and he looks at the lock and stuff. He walks out of frame, and you're like, oh, okay, he's gonna go get his like lock picking stuff. He just comes back with a chair and breaks the door open.
I love that scene so much. I also really love the awkward scenes between her and Huntress. Oh, there's so, like, Huntress is like, so what are you wearing? And he's like, red socks.
And then she's like, you're bad at this. He's like, oh, wait for it. And spandex.
Fucking best. Oh,
Oh
God.
my god. Oh my god. You see, now look at this. Now you're going to get me disappointed if the question doesn't end up in this game. What's the matter with you?
I like, because this is the thing. I know a lot of people who don't know who the question is, and I want people to start going, okay, I need to know who this guy is, and straight to Wikipedia, I will be happy if our podcast listeners are going to Wikipedia to learn who the hell the question is.
Oh my god, the question is badass. That is who he is. / what he is. But yeah, I definitely, oh my god, like, I keep praying. I keep on praying that the question gets announced so I can be on this podcast where Tyler is like, holy shit.
I will lose my goddamn mind, I can tell you that.
Yeah. You know who else are losing their goddamn minds though?
Who?
Xbox fans. The list of games with gold for April have been revealed. Now, PlayStation Plus hasn't been revealed yet. They usually, that's weird. It should. Oh yeah, because there's one more Tuesday in March, so we're definitely gonna find out what it is for next week.
Probably.
So they usually reveal it when there's no Tuesday left. Anyway, that's beside the point. So games with gold, they're getting Rise, Son of Rome, The Walking Dead Season 2, Darksiders, and Assassin's Creed Revelations. Assassin's Creed Revelations and Darksiders are both backwards compatible.
Okay.
Not a bad list. Not a bad list at all. I mean, if I was an Xbox fan, I probably wouldn't play any of these games if I'm being completely honest. But Rise is just one of those games that I was really disappointed with. It wasn't as good as I wanted it.
Rise is the definition of a launch title in my eyes.
Yeah. Rise is a launch title you know what, you summed it up like perfectly. Rise is a launch title in every sense of the word. A lot of just missed potential, pretty much. But it's an enjoyable hack and slash, and I doubt anyone, especially for free. I don't think anyone is going to get mad about getting this game for free. Walking Dead,
you've basically said your piece on those games. Yeah, I mean, like, to be honest, like, I'm like those Walking Dead games have been free at some point or other. So like, even though I'm like, great, I'm glad to see it's free so people can give it a try and see if they like it. But at this point, it's not anything spectacular being on this list, because there's a lot of Telltale games that have gotten the PlayStation Plus or the Games of Gold treatment. Darksiders, I think, is kind of interesting because I haven't seen it on any lists, and that's always a game that I've kind of like, that's a thing that I'd be interested in maybe looking at. Revelations, I think, is kind of meh, because it's like, because my friend bought Revelations, right? Because that was around the time when Assassin's Creed was obviously big and whatnot, and we were buying every Assassin's Creed that we could, and I think Revelations was actually the point in which he went, okay, I think I'm done with this. Like it was because there's always that game because it's weird how like Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty had that moment, at least from our perspective, in which me and my friend just kind of went, all right, we're done with this. Like there's no point in us hoping that it's gonna get any better because it's just gonna be the same. Like
Yeah.
like so it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks that that's sort of like where Assassin's Creed kind of went.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. It's a pity because I feel like it was there's a lot of wasted and lost potential with that franchise. But like even in the context of the Assassin's Creed franchise, Assassin's Creed 3 is one of my least favorite, simply because it just seemed like a by the numbers, because Assassin's Creed 2 is one of the better ones, as I think most people agree. Assassin's Creed is one of the best ones. Then after Assassin's Creed 2, I usually think Black Flag is one of their best.
Yeah, I would agree.
So then like 3, let's say Revelations and 3 are the ones in the middle, and I'm not too fond of either of them. I'd probably take 3 over Revelations. And by the way, speaking of, to go back to our question of the day from last week, Assassin's Creed 3 is the protagonist is half Native American. So
yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. But yeah, not a bad month. Not a great month. Last month was definitely better, but yeah.
Well, speaking of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, but speaking of Assassin's Creed, actually, wow, I didn't even plan this out, but this worked pretty damn well. The Assassin's Creed we got news that an Assassin's Creed TV series is in development. This is really interesting because, like, after the movie, I didn't think the movie did very well. I believe it grossed $240 million on a $125 million budget, which I actually think it's not a flop.
It's not a flop. It's like I would say it's like it did enough to do more than break even, which is fine. Like considering how dreadful usually video game movies do as far as like how the box office goes, it's like this is not that bad.
You generally want to double up on your budget. I think if you double up on your budget, you're generally considered, like, at the very least you're in the black.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it wasn't as big of a flop as I thought it was going to be. Probably not as big of a success as Ubisoft hoped it would be. However, be that as it may, we are getting a TV series now. Now there's we don't have a lot of information about it. There was apparently Ubisoft CEO Ubisoft CEO had discussions with Netflix in the last year, so now people are speculating that perhaps this Assassin's Creed series might end up being on Netflix, because at this point everything is on Netflix, and that would be something. That would definitely be something, and I'm really interested to see. Assassin's Creed, I think, would make a better TV series than a movie.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
For a couple of reasons. One being that you can take the anthology route and make, if it's going to be like a mini-series with an hour and a half long episodes, then each episode can be set in a different era. Or if it's going to be a proper TV series with 10 episodes per season, then each season can be set in a different era, right? So I feel like they have that option available to them, and
I would also just another quick point about that is that I think also from when you consider it from the game perspective, I think it would also be better as a TV series, because in Assassin's Creed, I'm thinking more Assassin's Creed 1 in this regard, is that the game is split into like 10 missions, assassination attempts, right? So like if every episode was a different assassination attempt, and they could build on like, okay, why do we have to kill this guy? What is exactly his dirt? You get to see the character throughout the entire episode, and you see his arc come to an end. Yeah, like I think that would work. I think that would work pretty well. Obviously, I don't know how they're gonna do it. Like, because the biggest problem I think Assassin's Creed has is that you have to balance the future stuff with the stuff that's in the past.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. I could see a TV show. You know what? This is a huge leap, but I could see it maybe doing something similar to maybe Westworld, in which we're getting like a good amount of like stuff in the past, and then we're also getting a decent amount of stuff that like cutting back from like here's Ezio in the doing his wall runs, and then it cuts to a bunch of the what's the company's name? Fuck. The company that made the machines, the Animus, Assassin's Creed.
Well, I have no idea.
Yeah, no, they're Turgo or something like that. I'm not sure. But basically, cut to them, a bunch of scientists maybe discussing like, all right, this is what you need to do. Like there is a couple ways in which I could see this working. I honestly want them to try it regardless.
Yeah.
And yeah, it will be interesting to see. I have more faith in this than the Death Note. Oh. Yeah, I saw that trailer. I just went, there's no chance. Like, I can't even attempt to be optimistic. There's no chance because there's so much. Like, I understand where it's like, all right, they clearly want to give this like an American spin on the story, but the problem is that where the story takes place in Death Note is actually a big plot point. And it's actually kind of important. And honestly, I realize it's a short teaser, but part of me is like, there's just no way. There's no way that this is going to be good.
Okay, let's be that as it may. One thing that is probably going to be really good is the Titanfall 2 DLC.
Yes, it will, because Titanfall's super dope, and you should play it.
Yeah, even though neither of us really plays it anymore.
I mean, I play it on occasion, but the problem...
When was the last time you played it, Tanner?
Honestly, I played it like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, that's actually a lot better than I thought.
Yeah, suck it.
That's still pretty bad, but that's a lot better than I thought. But yeah, we're getting new DLC. So we're getting a brand new map called Colony. Prime Titans for Legion and North Star, a new weapon, which is also free, and where's the other thing? New camos, new call sign, new patch, all that fun stuff. So all in all, man, like Respawn, they also announced that like Titanfall 2, the Titanfall franchise isn't going anywhere because everybody was worried. Because on every article about Titanfall, you always have that one person that's talking about how, oh my god, I wish EA hadn't released this in such a bad release window, which is true, But I feel like people's perception of this game, people thinking this game is going to fail, is probably has a higher chance of killing this game than the actual release window. I feel like the perception of this game is hurting it a lot more than the actual release window.
Yeah, I think it's like it's kind of like it was a couple things. Obviously, I still think the release window obviously had an effect on it, but also because people are like, oh, this game's gonna fail. This game's gonna fail. It's it's very similar to how I felt with Mass Effect for the last week. Is that because people keep saying, oh, this game is terrible. This game's terrible, or like being one-minded on one particular thing, that people start assuming that is absolutely 100% the case, which I don't think is necessarily true. Yeah,
because it's self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I honestly, I think this DLC is great, and I love the Prime designs, and I want them to keep supporting the game because there is still an audience for this game that is still there and still playing it, and it is still one of the best shooters out there. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping that they just continue to support this, and and just I'm a little bit I see what they're doing with the DLC, and they're adding like new Prime versions of the Titans, but I kind of hoping that we get to see a new Titan in the DLC at some point.
At some point, yeah. For me, I just want new story DLC. I really, really, really enjoyed the story mode. You know, like a lot more than I enjoyed the multiplayer. Like I just realized that once I finished the story mode, I stopped playing the game. So yeah, I really enjoyed the story mode. So I'm hoping for new story mode DLC. But yeah, like I wouldn't mind a new Titan. I'm not gonna hold my breath. Also they're having a free weekend. So if you I'm not sure if that means that you can download the game and play it for free. I'm assuming that's what it means. What else could it actually mean?
Yeah, I was about to say, what the hell? Like, free weekend, but you get to stare at the game, not play.
Yeah, you know when you say something and then as you are saying it, you realize that this makes no sense. This actually makes no sense.
It's a free weekend.
So they're gonna have a free weekend, so more people can get their hands on the game. And all in all, they've done a pretty good job of supporting the game, I think. And looking forward to seeing more going forward. Speaking of long-term support, this is a point right here that is pretty damn interesting. So Capcom recently announced that they are updating the Capcom Fighters Network. There's going to be a huge update that's going to fix a bunch of the issues that people have been complaining about for a very long time. So I'm not going to go completely in depth. I'm just going to go through some quick pointers. The main things are they're going to fix the matchmaking. They're going to fix rage quitting. So they implemented that rage quitting penalty rubbish a little while back, but it wasn't working properly. So they're rebooting and they're trying it again. And this time, apparently, it's supposed to work. They're going to improve the load times because with each subsequent patch and with all the new stuff that they've been adding to the game, the load times have gotten worse and worse. But for me, the biggest announcement is that they're fixing training mode. And after a year and a couple of months, you'll finally be able to save your settings in training mode of Street Fighter V.
Wow, that is... I didn't see that detail, but oh boy.
That's one of those situations where I'm not even sure if I should be happy about this, right? Like there's this, it's like a bunch of pirates. They kidnap your wife, right? And then they bring her back and they expect to be congratulated. I'm like, well, you shouldn't have kidnapped my wife to begin with. And that's pretty much. I'm like, okay. On one hand, you know what? On one hand, let me give credit where credit is due. I think Capcom deserve credit for sticking with this game and fixing it because I do like this. There's more money to be made in selling us a new game than there is to be fixing a broken game that you sold.
Yeah.
So, I think I can say with a certain degree of certainty that this is mostly Capcom is mostly doing this for the community, not for themselves. For their perception. So there is that, right? But I'm talking financially speaking, I can't imagine Capcom is making a lot of money from all the support they've given this game. So I want to give them credit in that regard. With that said, are you kidding me? A year and a couple of months to have a feature that's literally been in fighting games longer than some of the people who are currently playing your fighting game. Guys, come on. Why was this not a thing at launch? You know what? Arcade mode, whatever. I can let that slide. The shitty netcode, whatever. I can let that slide. But training mode? Are you actually kidding me? We have to wait over a year to get a fully functioning training mode. Guys. Anyway, they're gonna have a beta that's gonna test out some of the stuff. In the beta, they've already announced that all the characters are going to be unlocked, so they're trying to incentivize people to try out the beta and stuff. And I'm gonna give the game another try. As upset as I've been about Street Fighter V, the main thing. I kid you not, the main thing that put me off the game was the training mode thing, because literally I would be like, okay, cool, let me practice. I'd boot up training mode, I'd hop in, and then I start practicing, and and then I'm like, oh shit, I have to shut down stun again. So I'll switch off stun. Then I'll play for a little bit. I'll quit out. I'll go get like lunch. I'll come back. I'll try to practice again and say, oh my god, I have to switch off stun again. And then I'm just like, it's like little things like that. So now that one specifically is gone, I'll give it a try. See what's up. I tried downloading it a couple days ago and I couldn't find it, and I was like, oh my god, Capcom. Because you can go to your library and you can re-download old games.
Yeah, but that I think got changed around because of the update. The PS4.
So you see, that was what I thought. But then I checked. I checked some of my other games that I deleted, and I could still re-download those other ones. But I feel like the fact that I downloaded the story mode DLC has changed up the menu a little bit. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to. And at the time I was like, okay, whatever. Then I'm just not going to download your goddamn game. But for me, I'm like that at this point. I've already bought the game. I can't return it, so I'll
give it another shot.
I'll give it a try, see if I can. Yeah, see if I can get some value for money.
Yeah, like at this point, it's like I'm not gonna be upset if Capcom if Capcom fixes a lot of the problems with the game and it comes out and it's like, great, this is a much more refined experience. It's interesting how it's interesting how at this point it's like with Street Fighter V, it's like the people who I feel like the people who were on board at the very beginning don't. I've completely lost my point. Fuck me.
Okay, I'll just keep going with the point that you brought up there. That's a very good point. As much as I'm complaining, oh my god, it took you guys this so long to do this. I'm not going to. Well, I am, but I shouldn't be complaining about them fixing something. Okay, sure, you dropped the ball at launch. All these issues shouldn't have been there to begin with. But I'm not going to be like, yeah, well, screw you guys for trying to fix your mistake. So no, I completely agree with you on that, and I am gonna be giving Street Fighter V another shot. We'll see how long it lasts. This would be my third attempt, I think, to get back into this game. So we'll see if third time's the charm. But
maybe we can finally have that match.
We can finally have that match.
Oh boy.
Between my Yuri and your Birdie.
Well, maybe not my Birdie, because Birdie got nerfed fucking hard. Maybe Yuri. Or Jury. Fuck, I made that same mistake again. God damn it.
Yeah. But yeah. Also, so to wrap up, I have no cute segue. I almost did it. I almost went through the whole podcast segueing through every single point, but I have no segue for Street Fighter 4 to StarCraft Remaster. However, Blizzard announced this morning, actually, right before we started recording this podcast, that they're remastering StarCraft. There's no word on if the Brood War expansion pack is going to be included, but I'd be very surprised if it wasn't. Brood War is extremely popular, and I think people would be pretty damn mad if they didn't include it. That'd be a pretty scummy thing to do, Blizzard. And I know you're owned by Activision. Anyway, this is interesting. It's weird though. I was watching the trailer, and they show the old gameplay of StarCraft, and then a little thing pans over the screen and it shows the new gameplay, and I can hardly tell the difference.
It's smoothness. It's smoothness of the models. It's a little less pixelated, and it's a little more. I think the other thing they pointed out is that you can move the camera a lot farther back than you could in the original version. Which is actually a big deal with RTSs, because sometimes you want to have a bigger view of the battlefield, so I can understand that being a big deal. Honestly, the way I was comparing this is that this is very similar to how I felt with Age of Empires 2 HD, in which it looks a little bit better, but not a whole lot. I'm just glad that it's, available. Yeah. It's like, hey, look, for people who never got to play StarCraft 1, it's gonna probably end up on Steam or something, and
Steam?
I don't know. Where would people sell that? Where would they sell the remastered version then?
On Battle.net.
Oh, on Battle.net. Yeah, that's right. They have their own thing. Okay, yeah. Then I don't know how the fuck this is gonna work.
it's a mix of emotions. On one hand, this is pretty cool. I'll probably check this out. I was actually into StarCraft 2 back when it launched. It was one of the first esports that I watched. I never played it. At the time, I didn't have a laptop that could run StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
So, the fact that StarCraft 1 looks like shit is probably for the best. But with that said, I am kind of disappointed. I was hoping that they would upgrade the graphics a little bit more. They said that they're not touching. They're gonna add like a lot of new features to the game to make the user experience better.
Mm-hmm.
But they are absolutely not going to touch any of the gameplay. No rebalancing. Nothing, which I think is really, really smart.
Yes.
Hats off to Blizzard for having the common sense to, maybe Blizzard can call up George Lucas one of these days and let him know this is how you bring back a beloved franchise. So yeah, this is pretty cool. It's also funny because StarCraft 2 has kind of struggled as an esports. Blizzard didn't do it any favors, and then around the time that Blizzard were, pretty much killing StarCraft 2, this, little game that you might have heard of called League of Legends got released, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
So this is actually pretty interesting. I think that this all but kills StarCraft 2 as an esports. I think I wouldn't be surprised at all if the few StarCraft 2 players remaining all hop onto this, and then this like rekindles StarCraft as an esport. I wouldn't be surprised at all, because like in terms of like the visuals, I don't think at first it might take some people a while to get over the fact that this game looks like it's 20 years old. But
there's a certain level of reverence that StarCraft 1 has that I feel that because it's StarCraft, yeah. So I feel that people would be on board regardless, because there's gonna be like hell. I could see people who are fans of StarCraft 1 who are like kind of meh about StarCraft 2 going like, oh god, if StarCraft 1 starts getting like gets a full like esports thing going on, that will get me back in. Like I could see people being really excited for that. I mean honestly, I would be kind of excited for that, for be honest. I don't know if it would necessarily happen, but it would be definitely something interesting.
But yeah, no, this is cool. This is a really good move by Blizzard. Oh, actually, there's something. There's a little point here at the bottom that I didn't touch on. Lastly, the original StarCraft and its expansion Brood War will be available for free at the end of this month when the game receives its new update version 1.18. The original StarCraft will also be compatible with the remaster, so players who download the game when it becomes free can then immediately transfer the data after purchasing remastered later this year. Okay, that's pretty cool. So, one very important thing is, so Remastered is coming out this summer, but summer can mean absolutely anything when Blizzard is involved. It can mean April, it can mean May, and it can mean August. So, let's we'll see about that. But shit. I lost it. Crap, I lost my train of thought there. But.
So it's not just me. Okay, I feel better about myself.
But yeah, this is pretty cool. Looking forward to see how this is received, especially in Korea. Mm-hmm. This could be pretty big, or people could just not care anymore. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I definitely think it's StarCraft, because like StarCraft, I hopped onto StarCraft after the fact. So if StarCraft is as good and as deep as it was, as a lot of people claim it is, then I think that this is like people are gonna pick right up where they left, where they left off. They're gonna hop back in, and it's going to be a pretty big deal, I think.
Yep.
So yeah.
I guess now we just question. Well, no, I don't have much else to say, but we have a question of the day before we wrap things up, and it's from the wonderful J Streets. Shout out to J Streets. And J Streets asks us, what is the most overrated and the most underrated game you've ever played? Do you want to? I guess yeah. I'll start. Do you want to do like we'll both say our overrated and then we'll both say our underrated or something?
Yeah,
like
that sounds.
Okay. Okay. So For me, my most overrated game that I've personally played is I gotta say it's Left 4 Dead. Um, honestly, like I understand that there's why people really like this game. You know, people are like it's a great multiplayer game. You know, it's like oh the zombies respawn in different places and you know stuff like that, and you know it's got you know cool characters, and I'm just like. Yeah, I mean, like it does have that, but it's the way that people say it. Because for me, when I finished all of the missions in Left 4 Dead at my friend's place, I really had no drive to replay them. Like I really didn't, and it was like, oh no, but it's like the tank will spawn here instead, you know, like stuff like that. And I'm like. Yeah, but that doesn't change. Just because the tank spawns in a different place doesn't change the tank. You know, there's no real big revamp. And I mean, like, it's a fine game. Like, I understand. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's just when the game came out and people were just like, just to the moon over this game, I was just like, you know, it's fine, but it's not like. It's not like a 10 out of 10 or anything like that. It's so I don't know. It was one of those games where it's like I felt like I was in a small majority that I was just kind of like I don't really think this game is as amazing as everybody is making it out to be. And like I understand why people are playing it and why it has the fan base because it's a Valve game. Like it's gonna have a fan base regardless. But it was just like I don't know. I think it was more. I think also at that time I think I was really getting the jet lag over zombies in general. So I was just kind of like, you know, I just want to just play something else. And yeah, so I think that was what I would personally say is my most overrated game, Left 4 Dead, in my opinion. Well, what about you? What is your most overrated game?
It's gotta be GTA 5. So I've gradually been losing interest in Rockstar's quote unquote open world games. It started with GTA 4. I beat San Andreas, and that's one of my favorite PS2 games ever. So when GTA 4 was announced and it was coming out, I was really excited. And then I just remember playing the game and just not caring. You know, like I was playing the game and I was just bored and I was forcing myself to beat the game. And Red Dead Redemption comes out and everybody's hooting and hollering over it, and pretty much the same thing happened. I kept forcing myself to play the game, to beat the game, and eventually I was like, screw this, I'm just not going to play this game. Then GTA 5 comes out, and like I don't even buy this one because I'm like that. I feel like history is going to repeat itself. However, you know, I end up with at a friend's place and they have it, so I'm like, okay, let me give it a shot. So I start playing the game, and what really got me was it's an open world game, and this is the reason why I said quote unquote open world game, right? Is that, you know, GTA always used to pride itself in giving the player so many options, right? Oh, you can do whatever you want to do. But then after playing actual open world games, you know, like Fallout and Skyrim, going to Grand Theft Auto, you realize just how restrictive the game really is. You know, so I'll give you a couple of examples. And you know, it was just building up. So I'm playing this one mission, and I'm right next to my dude, and we're supposed to like walk up to this garage. We're supposed to walk up past a bunch of garages, check them out, so we can find this car that we're going to steal, right? So you know, my first playthrough, I'm walking with the dude. We're checking garage, and then we find the garage is at the end. So then we open up the door, and you know, cutscene plays, and we steal the car. Then I failed the mission, and then I restart. And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna just check each garage now. So I just run all the way to the garage, and it won't open. The dude, it won't open, and the dude refused to move. He's just standing there. He's like, yo, we gotta do this together. I'm like, why are you an idiot? So then I go back and we redo the whole thing, and I'm just rolling my eyes the whole time. So then that happens. Then there's just one mission I'm playing where I'm on a jet ski, and I'm shooting at these dudes. But then I can't really aim well on the jet ski. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to park this jet ski on this beach and get off the jet ski. And oh, wait, you failed the mission.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And then finally, the straw that just like straight up broke. I was like, I'm done. I'm supposed to escort this guy to go meet these bikers. So we're driving, we're driving. We drive to where the bikers are. You know how there's a circle that you're supposed to like park your car in to complete the mission. So I drive like a few inches in front of the circle. I get out of the car. Oh, mission failed. And I was like, okay, screw this game. I'm done. So
yeah,
yeah.
you bring up a good point in which like it's kind of like the game has a lot of different options, but whenever you're doing missions, it's almost as if it limits you to a particular option because what it wants to do is that it wants it to feel like as you're doing mission by mission, you're doing something different. But the fact that you can't change in any way what you're doing in that mission sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It made me realize that, you know, like actual open world, like how many times have you seen a mission failed screen in Mass Effect?
Not that much. I mean, well, what do you mean by mission failed exactly? Like, do you mean?
I mean, other than dying, have you ever actually failed a mission?
No, I've never failed a mission in Mass Effect.
It made me real. I stopped and I thought about it because, you know, it happened like a bunch of times, and I'm like, And, you know, I thought about Fallout, I thought about Skyrim. At the time, I hadn't played The Witcher 3, but I can toss The Witcher 3 in there now in hindsight. I thought about Dragon Age Inquisition. I thought about Dragon Age Origins. I thought about Mass Effect 1. For all my criticisms of Mass Effect 1, at the very least, it felt like an open world game. I mean, it felt like a very small and restrictive open world game with a macro that gave me migraines, but an open world game nonetheless, you know?
Yeah.
And then like Grand Theft Auto 5 just felt so small, all things considered, you know, like as big as the game was and as many options as the game had. But there was one time, and now in hindsight, I probably tried too hard, right? I was supposed to like get away from the cops in this one van, and the van was too slow, so I just parked the van somewhere. And then I got out of the van. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna park the van here where these cops can't see me. Get out, run, steal a fast car, lose the cops. Come back to where I parked this van and take it. Wait, that's way too creative. That's way too creative for Grand Theft Auto 5. Shit, I failed that mission so fast. So yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5. Easily. But it's not just Grand Theft Auto 5, it's Rockstar's open world games. But I'm just going to like personify that with Grand Theft Auto 5 and put that right there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, I mean, for me, it's like, you know, I would disagree with you on Red Dead, but that's a whole other thing. But for me, it's like the best part about Grand Theft Auto 5, personally, was Trevor. And Steve Ogg, the actor who played him, is fucking fantastic. And that was honestly, for me, that was the best thing about Grand Theft Auto 5 was seeing that role actually help him break out into a bunch of different really popular shows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. After Grand Theft Auto 5, he's in The Walking Dead now. He's in Better Call Saul. He's even in Westworld.
Oh.
Yeah. So he did pretty well with Grand Theft Auto 5, all things considered. So I'm glad. That was the best thing, in my opinion, about the game, is seeing his performance. And I thought he was really, really fantastic. And that's why I always liked playing in his missions. Out of all the characters you could play as, I liked playing as him because he was the most fun. But yeah, no, I agree with you with, like, it's weird that the game certainly limits your creativity. But yeah, do we have, I guess we'll go into most underrated game.
Most underrated game. So yeah, what are you gonna go with?
I was trying to think of a different answer of games that I personally, because we were talking a little bit earlier about this, and it's like, it's very difficult for us to think of the most underrated game, because to a certain extent, a lot of the games that we play, there's always like a group that really say, dude, this game's great, you know? And it's usually a relatively big group. Like even if I was to say, like, you know, I'm thinking of like Binding of Isaac, right? It's like, that's an indie game. Originally I was thinking maybe I could consider that underrated, but then the more I think about it, no, it's not really underrated because so many people play it, and it's overall a lot of people have high praise for that game. So that doesn't really work. So for me, I guess the closest answer I could say is Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Because it was kind of one of those games that it kind of flew by a lot of people because it was only on the Wii U, and it was right what I would consider the last legs of the Wii U. And it came out, and for me, the reason why I enjoyed that game so much was because it scratched a certain itch that I was looking for, and the fact that it has such a really great combat system that I like I've said this multiple times, but I want to see this combat system used in other games, which is why I'm like, if Atlas or the people who made Tokyo Mirage Sessions announced another game with this combat system, I would buy it. I would just buy it right away because it was so much fun. But yeah, and honestly, it was also one of those games where it's like, this is because Persona got delayed so freaking hard. This is gonna be the game that tides me over, and I was just happy with that. But yeah, I guess that's what I would consider my most underrated game. What about you?
Okay, so for me, it would be Guilty Gear Xrd. So I was talking about it last podcast, and I was gushing over, oh my god, this game is so good. But I honestly think, like, it's a niche title, so I don't think it's ever going to become like big,
Yeah.
like Marvel's Capcom or Mortal Kombat or anything. But I feel like it's probably one of the best fighting games of recent times, I think. Now obviously there's a bit of a bias there, but like I feel like, because when you think of fighting games, right, what most fighting game players will tell you is that they want a game that rewards their hard work, right? They want a game that rewards their hard work, a game that rewards you for being smart, a game that rewards you for reading your opponent, and, a couple of other things, but that's all I'm going to say for now. And Guilty Gear is all those things and more, like you will rarely ever lose a game and not be at fault. You will rarely ever win a game that you shouldn't have won. There are you have too many options where you just have too many options built into the game. So you almost always have something that you could have done to get you out of that situation that cost you that game.
Right.
So like that's why I really like this game, and I think this that's why I really really like this game, and I want more people to play it. I'm always on about it, and I'm always like, yeah, because I think this game's amazing. I think it's one of the best fighting games we've had in recent memory, especially with the old Street Fighter V being an old disappointment. I definitely recommend this game, and I think it's now this goes back to the argument of what really qualifies as underrated, because there's no one who's ever played this game that's been like, this game sucks. What we always say that this game is hard, which is true. Like, fighting games are hard, and then Guilty Gear is a hard fighting game.
Yeah.
So like, this is not an easy game. I'm never going to sugarcoat it to anybody. This game requires a time commitment, Some people just don't have that time, like, and I completely understand that, like, when people tell me, oh, I can't really get into that game because I just don't have the time. Yeah. Honestly, the game came out at the right time for me because I was out of school. If Guilty Gear had come out now, I wouldn't be able to play it. I'd be able to play it, but I wouldn't be able to put enough time into it to not be shit. So, so yeah, when you recommend this game to adults who have jobs and school and like families, it's a tough sell. But I think this is one of the best fighting games of this generation. Like, no, I don't think I'm exaggerating. I think it's hands down one of the best fighting games of this generation, and one of the best fighting games of recent memory. And I really, really hope that more and more people pick this game up as time goes by. So yeah, that's my most underrated.
I mean, like, I was also thinking about like other games that I can think that I personally like. Because I don't feel that Dark Souls, when it came out initially, was as big of a deal. At least when it launched.
Yeah.
And then over time, as like people started to talk about it, so it may have started as an underrated game, but now it's like a critically acclaimed game. And it's like, but I feel like Dark Souls was an interesting game for me, because even me, when I first played it at my friend's place, I was just like, I don't know. I actually, honestly, when I played it at my friend's place, I really didn't like the game that much. I know, big shocker. I really didn't like the game that much, but I think that had to do with a couple things. One, it had to do with the fact that I sucked, and two, I decided to build a character that really wasn't a good... Like, I would... If anyone's playing, like, Dark Souls, I would recommend playing, like, a strength build or a dex build. And when I played the game for the first time, I didn't even know what that meant, right? So, it was a rough experience. And I think the point where I rage quit was when I got killed by those stupid eyeball lizards. And then my health bar went down to... half. And this was actually before the patch. There was actually, because I was actually reading about this. I was, oh yeah, that was a thing before the patch. Because apparently when the game launched, if you got cursed, your health bar went down to half permanently, until, well, not permanently, almost permanently, until you cured it with a purging stone. The problem was that the purging stones cost 10,000 souls. So if you were early in the game and you got cursed, you were fucked until you got 10,000 souls. So yeah, and but yeah, it was an interesting experience of how I turned around on that game, because I ended up buying my own copy, sat down, started a whole new character, and then the rest is history. But yeah, no, great question, J Streets, great question. But yeah, if you've got a question, don't forget to leave it in the comment section, and we'll make sure to answer it in the next podcast. And as always, this was your host, Room Liberty, and...
Boaz Muhammad Yusuf.
And we'll see you guys next time. Take care.